Well, welcome everybody. I'm happy to be here. My name is Teresa. I'm the Associate Director of Admission for Whittier College. So I work with our graduate students. So anyone who's interested in getting a teaching credential to become a teacher. So this is kind of like what I'm presenting to you is what you need to do to become a teacher, especially K through 12, since we offer that credential at Whittier. I know if you're looking at transferring to Whittier College from Rio Hondo, there is options for you to pursue like a child development degree, or we just rolled out elementary education as an option for your bachelor's. So that would help you kind of set up what you would need to do to become a teacher. So you have those two pathways. So I'm going to focus more on like the graduate side. At the end, I'll kind of cap it off with like touching a little bit about transfer, and then I'll type it in the chat at the end, my transfer team information so they can connect with you if you're looking at transferring to Whittier as well. So a little backstory, feel free, as they mentioned, drop any questions you have in the meantime in the chat, or at the end, I'll open it up if you want to like verbally ask. So if you guys aren't familiar with Whittier, which I'm sure most of you are since you guys are our neighbors, we welcome students who are interested in studying at Whittier within an intellectually rich and social justice-oriented community of teachers and learners who value culturally responsive, ethical, student-centered, collaborative, and creative teaching. So again, if you guys are looking at the transfer pathway also, you're going to see a similarity between undergrad and grad, like how our program's laid out. So it's more discussion based, it's more intimate project based learning. So if you're looking for that, then Whittier would be a good fit. Or if you want to like go somewhere else for undergrad and then come to our graduate program where you can really focus on obtaining your teaching credential, those are the options for you. And this is kind of what I'm going through. So like our program details, what each program that we offer for a teaching credential. I'm going to focus more on the single subject to multiple, but if there are people who are interested in the education specialist, I can talk about that more later as well. Um, but those are the different ones. I'll talk a little bit more about what that means. A lot of students don't know what the difference is between those, so I'll talk about that. Application requirements, deadlines to just keep in the back of your brains. That way you kind of know about grad school, financial aid offerings, and then there's just a couple blurbs from our alum who went through the program. But as I mentioned, classes are smaller. You're not really following a cohort. You're able to go at your own pace. Some students find it better though, like for example, if you are pursuing a multiple subject teaching credential, you'll find like your fellow classmates who are pursuing that, and half the time you are taking those classes anyway. It's not really a cohort, but it's like kind of one. So you have that like little support system within your classmates, which is really nice. Um, for the grad program specifically, classes are held at like 5:30 at night or after late afternoon, and they're face to face. So rarely it's on Zoom. So there might be like one class you might be taking that's on Zoom, but majority of the program is in person. Whereas our undergraduate programs, most of the classes are held in the morning and like early afternoon. So you're done, I think the latest like 3 or 4. So just keep that in mind too if you're looking at if you're working and you're trying to do school and work or what have you. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well. I already mentioned small interactive discussion-based classes. This is to help you with individualized academic support. So you will get a lot of support at Whittier, again, undergrad and grad. So that's the benefit of having those smaller class sizes. Field work, so those are just hours you would log to obtain your credential. So you would be doing field work. Most classes have them, which it will get told to you a little bit more in detail if you decide to come to the program. It's just something that you would need to do. And then student teaching is where you finish like your first year of the program and then you start um, like going into classrooms, having like a layout of what you need to teach. You have, I think, like your main teacher there, or master teacher, I think is what they call it, and they're there to help you and guide you and be your resource as you're kind of teaching in the classroom for the first time as a student. And we work with a lot of schools within the Whittier Unified School District, which is nice. So we have a huge resource through them. And then you could choose your own classes, as I mentioned. And then we have summer courses available for our grad students. So you can come for spring, summer, and fall, or you can just do spring and fall, whatever your preference is. And these are the credential options. So as I mentioned, multiple subject, if you're looking at teaching elementary and middle school, so having a classroom your entire school year, that's what pathway you would want to take to get that credential. Single subject is if you're doing middle school, so like junior high, high school, and you want to focus on one singular subject, that's what you would pursue. So at Whittier, we offer English, social science, math, science, and PE. So those are the ones you can pursue. We don't have art. I do get a lot of students asking, but there are programs that do offer that, or you can kind of choose a different pathway there. Um, Education specialist is if you want to assist students with special needs. So that's pretty much anywhere from kindergarten all the way through high school, early college. I know some students ask me to, like, what do I need to do to become a professor? That's a little different in itself. I know professors at Whittier in the education department, most of them have their teaching credential, did a lot of teaching beforehand, and then they have like their PhDs now. And now most of them are teaching at Whittier and kind of acting as your mentors if you're interested in the program, which is really nice. So you have that resource at Whittier. With that, another great thing about Whittier to keep in mind is that you can earn your teaching credential and your master's in teaching. And you're probably like, Teresa, why do I want both? In my opinion, you're a little bit more marketable to schools and they want someone with a little bit more um, of that like schooling, if you will. So that's something that's definitely beneficial to you. The only thing is you're gonna start out and do your like 30 units within the top two programs. The education specialist credential is a little bit longer. So I would say it's about a 2-year program with your master's for the single subject and multiple. Education specialist is a little longer, more like 3 years, just because there are more classes you would need to take for this credential. But the other two are about 2 years. So you would do all your credential coursework, and at the end, you would do your two culminating 4-unit courses towards your master's. I hope that makes sense, but a lot of students are able to do that. Most of them that come through our program will do that because you're doing it straight shot through the program. I kind of tell students to do it just because, for example, if you want to pursue your teaching credential and you're like, I'm not doing my master's right now, maybe I'll come back to Whittier and do it. The problem is you're going to potentially be retaking some classes just because your master's program just by itself is built on those credentials. So, for example, if you're doing single subject and you're focusing on English, most of those classes you're taking are single subject classes, and those are the classes you would take in order to get your master's. I hope that made sense. They act like more like electives, so you get to pick and choose for your master's. Whereas if you're coming for credential and master's, you're taking those set classes and then your master's. So, a little long-winded, but my recommendation is to focus on credential plus master's. And then if you decide I don't know if I want to go through a teaching program right now. I'm gonna, go through, get my undergrad, um, take a year off, then go to a credential program elsewhere, and then you come to us like, oh, I want to get my master's. You can do that. You just need to have your te teaching credential to apply to master's only. So, again, if you're doing master's, you can't apply if you're coming right out of like an undergraduate institution. You can't get your master's. You have to have a teaching credential. So, that's the difference between the two. So, I know it's a little confusing, but we can walk through it a little bit more later if you guys have questions. But now you're like, okay, what the heck are the requirements to apply? I'm going to focus on the left-hand side here. It looks like a lot, but trust me, it's pretty straightforward. So we have an online application you would complete. We have 3 entry points. So you have 3 chances to apply and get in and start that following semester. So We have our spring deadline, which is the one we're kind of working on right now, which is December 15th. So then you would start that following January. And then if you want to wait a little bit longer, summer would be the next one. Deadline for that is April 25th. And then after that, we have fall, which is our more popular entry point. Deadline for that is July 25th. So I'll put the dates up on the screen towards the end because I do have a slide, but just want to put that out there. We would need you to complete your bachelor's degree. So you need to finish your bachelor's degree and have at least a 2.8 or above in order to apply to the program. We also have you guys meet basic skill requirement, which now Governor Newsom put in place where if you go to a undergraduate institution where they're accredited, which most of them in the area are, Whittier is, so you would be able to use your bachelor's degree to suffice this requirement, so you don't have to take an exam. And then this one, you would need to take an exam depending, so there's like fine lines, but I'm not going to get too deep into that right now. But basically, you would need to take the CSET or a subject matter competency to show that you're going to teach a specific subject. So, for example, if you want to pursue, an English single subject and you majored in something else, but now you decided I want to pursue English and teach English, you would take that exam. What I was mentioning is like if you major in English and you want to teach English, you don't have to take the CSET. Just keep in mind there are weird rules with this one. So like, for example, if you major in history, you can't use that for your social science, which I don't make the rules. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's just the California Teacher Credentialing website. So they have those rules in place. If you're ever confused, you can reach out to me at Whittier and I'd be happy to help you navigate that. So don't worry about that too much. And then we ask you for an essay and a couple letters of recommendation, and that's pretty much it. I know a lot of other programs in the area, so I'm going to kind of talk on that too. They require this as well. The basic skills and subject matter isn't going to change wherever you go. Most of the schools in California, or all of them, I should say, this is what the state of California is requiring you to become a teacher. So this isn't like Whittier specific. Other institutions might ask for like some supplementary material, i.e. like 3 letters of rec, for example. But the core of this is not going to change. So just so you know when you're applying to credential programs. And as I mentioned, this is basic skill. If you really want to, there's other options, but as I mentioned, just having your bachelor's degree will suffice. So just as long as you graduate from your undergraduate institution. And then subject matter, or the CSET, as I mentioned. So for our application, you only need to pass one subtest. So now you're like, what does that mean? So for certain CSETs, there's at least 3 subtests. Like I know off the top of my head for multiple subject, there's 3 you need to take and pass. Just for the application though, you can take one, pass it, and then you have to take the other 2 later before you start student teaching. So if you want to just do one, get admitted, and then wait a semester and then wait till summer to do your other 2 CSETs, you can do that. So you do have that flexibility. Sometimes you can do it through coursework. It's called via domains option. I know again, some institutions do this, some don't. So just talk to any representative you have at that college you're applying to. So for Whittier, you can email me and I can connect you with our credential analyst and she can help you walk you through that. Awesome. So these are the deadlines. I know I went through them really quickly, but we're working on spring. So December 15th is our upcoming deadline. There is no application fee to apply to Whittier, which is awesome. So you don't have to pay anything for your graduate program as well as undergrad. So if you're looking at transferring, you do not need to pay an application fee, which is awesome. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about transfer and then give you our transfer team information. This is important too to keep in mind when you're applying to different credential programs. I would make sure that you take at least a child development class and a US Constitution class or like a poli-sci. So half the time, say you're like, I don't want to, which is fine. I'm not going to be mad if you guys decide I don't want to go to Whittier for undergrad, but I want to go to like a Cal State. Most of the time, Cal States embed like a poli-sci class into your general ed requirements. So you won't have to worry about that. You just have to take, or you have to receive a B minus or better in these classes for them to work for your prereqs. So just make sure you do well in these classes. So it's mostly these two. You want to take this class as well, just child development. This one's embedded in your program, so you don't have to worry about this last one. So it's just these two. And then financial aid. So we do offer financial aid for grad students. It's more so for Credential plus masters. I know there's like some weird fine line with like credential only and masters only. So if you want to have that conversation later on, we can. But we do offer Cal Grant funding extensions. So if you receive a Cal Grant as an undergrad, you can use that for your 5th year, so your first year of your credential program. They're also, it's called the Golden State Teacher Grant. I think it's still going. But what it is you would apply for it, and then once you graduate from your credential program, you're kind of meeting your end of the bargain since it's a grant. And you would fulfill that school's requirement, or you would teach at that school to help like fulfill the grant money you received, if that makes sense. So Golden State Teacher Grant, if you just Google it, it'll pop up and you can kind of research it a little bit more. We had graduate teaching fellowships. I'm not quite sure if they're still active. If you are interested, I just recommend you reach out to athletics when you're looking at applying, and then they'll let you know if they have fellowship opportunities at Whittier. Our current cost per unit right now is like about $8.19. So for our grad students, you're paying per unit. I know for undergrads and transfer students, you're paying per semester or that academic year, which is a completely different thing than this. But like rough estimate of cost overall for our program, I want to say it's about like 38,000 for multiple subject plus master, or a little closer to 40. I'm highballing it because I don't want to underdo it and then you guys be like, wait, why is it so expensive? Teresa underestimated. So again, we can talk about this later about our financial aid and how this works as a grad student. So that's kind of like what we currently offer for you guys. And then lastly, this is just a spotlight from one of our alumni. So they just loved how our program guides them and gives them ownership of their understandings. And then they kind of like help each student be empowered to, take ownership of the classroom. And a lot of students walk away with like great connections in the graduate program as well as our undergrads. A lot of them stay in contact with their professors. They help them with like grad school applications, or if you're going to like a PhD program, they're there to help you along the way. So great resource here at Whittier with our faculty and staff. And this is just our contact information. So you can email us educationinfo@whittier.edu. You can call our office number. If you're heading out after class and you want to come chat at the admission office, you can. So yeah, those are the different resources, all of that. But does anyone have any questions? I know I see some in the chat, I believe. We don't offer any scholarships for the credential program, because we only have like the Golden State Teacher Grant that most students will use for the state of California, but we don't have like Whittier College specific ones. So no, we don't have them, unfortunately. But yeah, we do have a lot of resources for our transfer students for like if you're coming for your undergrad. So that's a huge difference there. But does anyone have any other questions or need anything from me? Let me stop sharing so I can pull up other information here.
Hi, Teresa. I'm Leah Martinez. I work with Emily. Thank you for presenting for our students on your program. My question is, I noticed that it said professional reference. So if they're
Mhm.
not working, can they I don't can they maybe get another reference from somewhere else? Yeah, for someone else.
Yeah, great question. I know I get a lot of questions about, well, I have lost contact with my professors. Can I do two professional? I always tell them, yeah, that's totally fine. Or the flip side where I'm not working, I haven't worked. Can I get two academic? That's totally fine. Just as long as the student communicates that with us, then it's totally fine.
All right, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes. Let's see. I saw some more questions pop up. Let's see. Golden State Teacher Program. Let me just give you guys the link. I'm not 100% sure. Let me see. I want to say you don't because grants you don't have to pay back. So there's like a criteria you have to meet in order to receive it. So they'll review your application and everything. Um, so you'll know beforehand. But here's the link to that program so you guys can kind of do some exploring, or if you want to like talk it out with staff members at Rio Hondo, you totally can, or we can meet about it again too. And then I see how much would tuition be per year? So ballpark, it depends. For multiple subject and single subject, it's about I think I said between 35,000 and 40. You're not paying that all at once. Just keep that in mind. It's per semester and how many units you register for. So we have payment plans. We do offer, as I mentioned, like if you're applying for FAFSA, you can use that for student aid as well. So there are options, and our financial aid team is amazing, and they'll be able to talk you through tuition and everything if you decide you're applying and you're coming. So that's a great resource to have as well. Any other questions? You guys are asking great questions.
Teresa, for transfer, do you know or are you able to share anything like how transfer application works, if there's a fee, just in case, our students are interested in undergrad there as well, and about
Yeah,
any of the transfer scholarships, because I know Whittier College has a lot.
we do, yeah. So I'm gonna give you our transfer page, the link to it in the chat, and then you're more than welcome to like share it, of course. So that's like our web page for transfer. Um, and I know for sure you don't have to have like a set amount of like units or credits to transfer. Which is awesome. So I highly encourage you guys to connect with our transfer team. So I know Genevieve, she's a huge help to you guys at Rio Hondo. Genevieve Garcia is her name. So I know she's pretty present on your guys' campus throughout the fall semester. So I don't think she's visited you guys yet because we just started recruitment travel. So I'm sure she'll be coming soon. So you can always tap into her when she's on campus. But to apply, you don't have to pay an application fee, which is awesome. So you guys don't have to worry about paying something and then waiting for your application. We just ask for the completed online application, which is located on our website. So it's not on like a different platform. Literally can come to our website on the link I sent you. And if you scroll down, there's all the information there. So online application, a letter of recommendation. So it can a recent or current college professor. So you can tell them that on your application. So whatever's easier for you. I know sometimes things change, so our transfer team is wonderful at helping you with that. Final high school transcript. We just need a copy of it, just to make sure that you've graduated from your high school. Obviously, you guys have since you guys are at Rio Hondo, but we just need to see it as well. And then we also ask for unofficial college transcripts. They'll ask for official ones later on. But if you submit a copy, they'll be able to review it, kind of walk you through what classes would count towards certain classes at Whittier for undergrad, all that good stuff. So they'll tell you how many units you transfer in from Rio Hondo, so they'd be able to walk you through that. Any questions about that application? Because we do have another one that you guys can do if you're interested too. No question. Okay, I'm gonna jump into the other one, and then if you guys feel free to stop me. The other option is instant decision. So what that is, if you don't know, if you haven't heard it, it's a quick and easy interview. It can be done. You can either come to Whittier College, coordinate something with Genevieve or her colleague Andrea. They'd be able to do it in person in our office. Sometimes Genevieve can come to your guys' campus since you guys are literally around the corner. She'd be able to do it there. Or if those don't work, we can also do it over Zoom, which is a huge one that a lot of transfer students will utilize since it works with your guys' schedule and if you're working, all of that. So basically what that is you get an interview. We would review your college transcript, your high school transcript. So you just need to upload those prior. Again, the copies are fine. And then our transfer team will ask you a set of questions. It doesn't take too long. The appointment's maybe 30 minutes tops. It could be less than that, just depending if you have all your resources and materials in. And at the end of that, they'll be able to give you your admission decision, which is awesome. So if you want like a quick response, great option. Again, no application fee for that. And then they'll give you a rough estimate of your merit-based scholarship. So that's our John Greenleaf Whittier scholarship. So it could range as little as 20. And I think for transfers, maxes you get, don't quote me exactly, I want to say it's about 34,000. So it does take a good chunk off of your tuition, which is awesome. Just to put it out there, tuition without room and board, if you're commuting, it's about like 52,000. So if you really think about it, it's taking a lot off the top there just with that scholarship. Let me pull up the scholarship page on our website and I will also send you guys this link. So that way you guys can review it if you have questions, anything like that too. But then there is our scholarship link in the chat there for you guys. So yeah, it says, let me see, it says, I think you guys, yeah, they look at your cumulative college GPA is what they review. So that's the amount you would get. And then we also have, let's see, our creative arts scholarship, which is awesome. So if any of you are either majoring in these or you just do them on the side, such as art, music, theater, or English, you can submit whichever, one you're applying for. Our correlating department will review your portfolio or whatever you're submitting, and they can give you up to 5,000, which is great. So you're able to take advantage of this scholarship. And then let's see what else. There are a couple more. I know they vary for transfer, but again, there's that entire web page right there for you guys to review. Oh, I missed this one. Gateway Scholarship. So you guys are literally up the street from us, so you guys would receive this. You would get up to $2,000, so you don't have to apply to it. We'll look at where you live, what school you're going to, all of that, and then it'll automatically show on your financial aid package. So it's a cool scholarship that automatically shows up, which is great. So great for our local community. But I hope that helped a lot with applying and scholarships. Oh, I was going to give you guys the transfer team information too. But does anyone have any other questions about transferring or our graduate program? So there's Genevieve's email. So if you guys have questions, feel free to email her. She loves hearing from you guys. Don't be afraid to reach out to her or myself. I um
Teresa, I think there's another
yes.
question. Do you have any programs like EOP?
Um, let me see. Yeah, so what we do have is we have so their acronym is CAS, so Center for Academic Advising and Success. So that's a great resource that they do like tutoring, um, and they also do like help if you need help with like note taking. Um, we also have so you normally would get a counselor. I know I went to a community college for a couple years and transferred to a 4 year. When I was at my community college, you got just a general counselor that you went to have if you had questions about what classes you need to take, all of that. So for me, my experience was pretty basic. But from what students have told me about Whittier is you get a faculty mentor slash advisor. So they try and partner you with whatever major you're interested in. So for example, if you are majoring in English and you want to have a mentor in that program, they'll try their best to have you have one of the current professors be your faculty mentor, all of that. So they'd be able to kind of guide you of like what classes you need with internships, opportunities that they may know that other people on campus might not know because they have connections through their alums who have gone through their program. So yes, we have like mentorships through that. And another great thing about Whittier is we're such a small campus. So right now our student body is like 750 students or a little close to 800. That's overall for undergrad. So we have a lot of staff on campus. So if you do need that assistance for like first gen, if you've like never navigated college before, a lot of faculty are there to help you as well as staff. You'll easily find somebody at Whittier and walk into the office and be like, hey, I need help with this. And everyone's more than willing to help you. That's the benefit of our small campus. So I hope that answered your question. But anything else from anybody? Again, you guys are asking great questions, so I'm happy to be here and answer them for you. Yeah, don't be afraid, you guys, to come tour campus. Um, we have our student ambassadors do those tours. Just sign up on our website. I can give you guys the link. I know we're throwing a lot of links at you, but that way you can come tour, get a feel of what the campus would be like. We do have a lot of transfer students too, so we do have a lot of commuter students. So don't be worried about that. Let me find, let's see. Yes, here is the link to sign up for a campus tour if you guys are ever interested. We would love to see you on campus. But there's the link to that. That way you guys can check it out, schedule a visit, talk to your transfer team, talk to me if you want to talk about grad programs. But any other questions from anybody?
Teresa, maybe one last question.
Yeah.
I know, can you talk about the difference between, can you brag a little bit about going to a private um,
Oh yeah.
college as opposed to going to a Cal State? And I know there's a myth out there that um, a lot of students think that it's very expensive to go to a private college, right? So, and I've talked to other
Yes.
colleges, and we have a student that actually, so, well, I hope he's there. And he got a lot of scholarships, I believe. So, yeah, just please maybe expand on that. Yeah.
Yes, I am more than happy to. I love talking about this. Just to give you guys some backstory, I went to a private institution. I did not come to Whittier, but I went to Azusa Pacific University. A lot of my colleagues in the office are alums. Genevieve, our associate director of transfer, she's an alum of Whittier College. and I have sisters who went through the Cal State system, so I have seen private and, those public schools. My experience, I feel, was way better in my opinion. I know I'm gonna toot the private institution a little bit higher or more. Um, but you do get that support, as I mentioned. Everyone's really readily available. The professors are there to help you. I'm not saying Cal State's aren't, but it's easier to find faculty and staff at the smaller private institutions. I know my colleague, she's one of our first year counselors. She went through our business program. She remembers working on a project like a couple weeks before finals week. She had a question about the assignment. She emailed her professor at like 11:59 p.m. and he replied by midnight. So you don't get that a whole lot, which I think is again another great benefit of a private. I majored in English, so the classes were smaller. You get that extra support, especially when you want to pursue anything in the arts. I know like liberal arts isn't solely arts. There are other programs. We're one of the few liberal arts colleges that have a business program, so keep that in mind too, which is great. But on the flip side, for those Cal States, it's a little bit more challenging to find help. You have to schedule appointments. You have to wait up to 2 weeks for stuff. There's long lines when you walk into places. Both of my sisters majored in biology. They both took, I believe, like 5 years or a little bit more, 5.5 to graduate from undergrad. So it was a little bit more challenging to get their classes. Stuff was impacted. If you're not familiar with what that means, impacted is basically the major is like capped. There's lots of students in it. They're not accepting new ones. It's hard to get classes since um, if you can't get in a class, then you can't get into it and you have to wait till next semester or sometimes the following year because some classes are only offered once a semester. So, or once every year, I should say. So it's more challenging to meet your requirements to graduate, whereas the private institutions are there wanting to help you succeed and watch you graduate in a, reasonable time. So within that 4 years. And then one last thing I'll say is don't get turned off by the word a private college. Whittier College is one of the few institutions that are super affordable. As you guys have mentioned as well, we offer a lot of scholarships to our students, especially transfer, and I know that's super rare. Like when I applied to APU, I got some scholarships, but I wish if I were to go back in time, I could have applied at Whittier just because I would have gotten way less into student loan debt. So just make sure you weigh your options, explore. Don't write off Whittier College. Don't write off those private institutions. I highly encourage students to apply to the institution, look at your award letter, look at your financial aid. And if it's not doable for you, that's totally fine. It's your education. It's your pathway. But if it's something that you can see yourself doing and you really like the institution, you think it's a good fit, go for it. We're happy to help and talk with you, walk you through everything. So yeah, I hope that gave you some more insight about Whittier College and like private institutions. So yes, explore your options when you're looking at transferring or going to grad school. But that was a great question. Thank you for having me talk about that. I love talking about it. Anyone else have any other last minute questions? Oh, nice. Yes. So it sounds like Genevieve was there yesterday. So I know she's really good at coming to your guys' campus since it's literally up the street from us. So if you guys need anything, email me, email her. My email, I just dropped it into the chat. We're happy to assist you moving forward. But yeah, you guys were great. I'm glad you guys were asking questions. You guys were good listeners, hopefully. But yeah, feel free to reach out if you guys need anything. But any last minute questions? All right, well, that's it from me. I don't know if you guys have anything else, but I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay cool. I know it's really hot. Stay hydrated. But yeah, lovely to meet all of you, and thank you for having Whittier College here. It was great.